Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about what to expect from my 2, 3, 4, and beyond year olds when it comes to mealtime and eating. Now in terms of the frequency of eating, it's going to stay the same basically through adulthood. You have a meal in the morning, that's usually breakfast, lunch, dinner, some snacks in between. Kids and adults don't really need late night snacks or something to keep their tummy full overnight while they're asleep. And they don't need a special drink or smoothie or milk or something like that in the morning when they wake up. They can just eat at their normal meal times. Now, sometimes when our kids are going through growth spurts, if they wake up early and it's gonna be a while until breakfast, we'll give them some like a apple or yogurt or something like that just to kind of tide them over. Otherwise, they get a little bit hangry. I don't know if you're familiar with that word or concept, but some children and some adults get a little angry when they're hungry. So the word is hangry. Now, if you've ever heard of that, maybe comment or throw an emoji below because I would love to know that it's not just us. But in terms of the frequency, it's going to be about the same. The plate size is going to vary. Sometimes they'll be going through a growth spurt and they'll just pack it all in. It always seems like it's siblings, like younger siblings eat better than older siblings oftentimes. So what you'll see as you go through is that the 2-year-old is eating much better than the 7-year-old. And like, how could that be? Well, people are going through growth spurts at different times. Their metabolism changes and their rate of food consumption and caloric need varies. And so you'll see periods of time where it seems like they never eat and they're still growing and developing and getting into trouble and being cute and cuddly and saucy and sassy and hangry. You'll see all those things. And that's normal. And you can expect that their diet and appetite will vary as they grow and for the rest of their lives. They will also have varying preferences. And it is okay to indulge in preferences. Wow, you really like blueberries. Let's give you a couple extra blueberries. How would that sound? You can do those things just like adults. You say, hey, I know that Tim, whenever he comes over, he really likes Lay's potato chips, so let's give him a few extra because that'll make him happy. Now, you don't have to just feed them Lay's potato chips or blueberries or whatever it might be, but you'll see their preferences emerge. And I think it's still good to put things on the plate, still give them some affirmation if they'll try it. You can still dangle some carrots or, M&Ms or whatever if they'll try something. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but expect that if they don't like tomatoes, they might not like tomatoes for a while. And it might be somebody down the road says, hey, you got to try this. Or they're out with friends and want to look cool. And they're like, oh my gosh, I actually do like tomatoes. Those are really good. I wish I'd been eating those all along. I'll start eating those now. Versus he hates tomatoes. I'll hate tomatoes my entire life. My mom told me when I was 2 that I hated tomatoes, and I'm always going to hate tomatoes. Just avoid doing that, and you'll avoid any really serious preferences or restrictions that can add to rigidity and decrease the enjoyment of eating. So I would just avoid that in whatever ways that you can. Now, the thing about 2, 3, 4-year-olds that I really love is that you can involve them in the process of cooking and eating. You can have them help set the table. We will give our 2-year-old the plates and we'll say, put this in Walter's seat. And she'll kind of, mumble Walter, Walter as she walks off. And you're like watching her as she, like the food is like feels like it's going to spill all the time. She actually does a pretty good job of keeping the plate flat enough, using 2 hands and getting it to the correct seat and everything like that. Then sometimes she'll come back for more, or she'll sit down and try and eat off their plates or something like that. But you can let them help, not only just like delivering food from the kitchen to the table, but you can have them do other things. You can have them start peeling fruits and vegetables, getting that peeler out and showing them how to use that and recognizing that they might cut themselves a little bit. That's part of growing, and that's part of learning how to cook and taking ownership of our food. If you can give your children autonomy and ownership, even if you know that they could cut themselves a little bit or they could do something that's a little bit dangerous that would require a Band-Aid or 2 or something along those lines, it is best to offer those opportunities. Now, you can do it in a safe way. You don't have to give them the big chef's knife or let them, tend to the boiling water on the stove. I wouldn't do those things. But you can do little things. They have like great plastic knives that we use to cut up strawberries and apples and things like that are really not sharp at all that they can use. And then you can brag about it. Guys, guess who helped make apples for dinner tonight? Dorothy did. She made them. Everyone tried them. Tell Dorothy what you think. Wow, you did a really good job cutting those up. Or who stirred the meatballs? Who put the steaks on the grill? As kids age, they can help with those things more and more. It gives them autonomy. It makes them excited to eat. I love eating the food that I cook, and your kids will love eating the food that they cook when they're able to participate in whatever way they can, and then shining some light on that as something cool, something neat that they did, something that they should be proud of, and that everybody at the table is grateful for because it let us get our food, and it was tasty, and they did a great job. Your kids will take ownership of that. And then as they get older and older, you can encourage them. What do you think would happen if we put a little lemon juice on this? Or do you think this needs more salt? Let's try it. Or we're out of this. What do you think we could use instead? Oh, that's an interesting idea. I'd never thought of that. Let's try it and see how it turns out. Those are ways to encourage them to participate in mealtime. And then they will be better eaters. They'll sit at the table. They'll do all the things that you're hoping that they do. Remember that everyone loves affirmation, whether it's eating something new, whether it's eating the old same stuff that they like to eat on a regular basis, whether it's helping with cooking, whether it's setting the table, clearing the table, doing the dishes. Everybody loves affirmation, and everybody can enjoy mealtime much more if you can show them that you appreciate their presence, you appreciate connecting with them, that you have those values in mind, the connectedness, the peace, the togetherness, all of those things when you're going about the meal process. Eating is what we spend a lot of our lives doing. Eating is a lot of time that we spend, preparing meals. And so if we can incorporate our children into that, we're going to enjoy it more. They're going to enjoy it more. Some days it's nice to just have a little quiet while you prepare dinner, but when you are feeling like your bucket of energy is at least a little bit full, involve them in the process and you will see the benefits. Now, hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully you are energized to be excited and enjoy those 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. Now, they can be a lot of trouble, and I definitely have had times where I remember where our 4-year-old looked me right in the eye, took her milk, and turned it upside down. And that was pretty fun. And she kind of did that for a spell of time, and it was great fun. Eventually, we just gave her water so it didn't make such a mess for a period, and then she got over that, and went back to milk and those sorts of things. You will have those trying moments, but you will have a lot more fun with eating and cooking and spending time as a family if you can engage your children, involve them, let them have ownership and autonomy over the process. You will see the benefits for years to come. I hope this has been helpful. Keep up the good work.